Is Fortnite dying? The Battle Royale mode has seen less players than ever before, and the decline has been steady. With Roblox continuing to explode in popularity and top streamers and content creators trying out other games,
I will be playing Roblox.
Is Fortnite finally over, or are there things Epic Games can do to save it? Today, I'm going to be covering 20 things Epic can do to save Fortnite, and it starts right at the top. Epic has become too reliant on collabs for Fortnite. You know, back in the day when there would be a collab for Fortnite, it wouldn't just take over the whole game. It would seamlessly weave into what Fortnite had going on, and it seemed like it was the honor of the collab to join Fortnite and ride Fortnite's wave versus Fortnite using the collab as a crutch. In the most recent event, when Superman just kind of came in and eliminated the bug, instead of Superman being part of the event, he just kind of took it over, and I don't know, it just seemed like it really killed the hype for me. At number 2, Fortnite has become too formulaic. Back in chapter 1, there was mystery on what would go on. You know, Kevin the Cube randomly spawning or meteorites beginning to fall from the sky. It had this feeling of you couldn't miss a day of Fortnite because you never knew what was going to happen. Whereas instead now, it seems like a lot of those mini events or things that happen are very obviously time gated, and even down to when seasons launch and the kind of cadence of what Fortnite is at. If you think about it, back with the black hole, when season X ended, we didn't know what was going on with that. And it kind of caught everyone off guard and put us on the edge of our seats. I want to see more of that brought back to Fortnite. At number 3, honestly, the overall Battle Royale genre is slowing down. Battle Royale had its heyday moment with PUBG, with Fortnite, with Apex Legends, but now that genre seems to have been kind of exhausted a little bit and has been slowing down. So I think it's up to Fortnite to continue to adapt the Battle Royale genre, because Fortnite's Battle Royale is still what gets people downloading and playing the game. At number 4, I think Epic really needs to make rebooting much easier. You know, we've had other modes like Reload introduced and Blitz introduced, which have really sped up the game and have made people value their life less, or have given them a reason to just back out or respawn when they get eliminated. Well, in Battle Royale, it's still a big thing. When you get eliminated, you're dead for much longer than these other modes. I would like to see Epic make it where rebooting your friends is much easier and isn't something that alerts the whole map when it's going down. At number 5, there are too many bots in Fortnite. I think everyone would agree with this. I think from top to bottom, it's a known issue. Top players, you don't want them fighting against noobs. But at the same time, don't make it where players who've been playing the game for years no longer feel any sort of excitement around the game because all they're facing are AI. Decrease the amount of bots, but then make sure no game can end with bots. Well, right now, if almost every game is ending with bots, it completely kills that big payoff moment, and it makes the cycle of playing games of Fortnite feel very dull. At number 7, add a casual mode. It's simple as that. But we shouldn't have to have a mode where you're only facing real people be named expert mode. No, we should instead have a casual mode that people can go and play. This is a big one. We need a better in-game storyline. Back in the start of Fortnite, people were on the edge of their seat trying to figure out where the Fortnite storyline was going. It was something that engaged the entire community. People would get fired up about what's going on. They'd want to learn about these new Fortnite characters like Jones, like the Seven, like the IO, like Midas, the Cube Queen, anything like that. Think about chapter 6. We've had demons, we've had Japan-themed start, we've had superheroes come up, we've had bugs pop up. None of it makes sense, and it seems like seasons just jump place to place with no real payoff for a larger storyline that happens and develops across a whole chapter. I think that there should be a storyline that builds from the start of the chapter to the end, instead of there being this bouncing around that doesn't seem seamless. That ties in perfectly to my next point. I think each chapter should end with a major storyline, large-scale event, like a monster versus mech or a Cube Queen map flip. You know, those are storylines that develop over seasons, over a chapter. And instead of it feeling like you can kind of just leave Fortnite and you won't miss anything, reward the players who stick around and make it be like a here's what you missed sort of moment instead of a none of this matters sort of moment. At number 10, I want to see Fortnite bring back better rewards. Back in chapter 1 season 9, we had the awesome Fort Bites, and if you did the 100 Fort Bite challenges, you unlocked a super cool skin. That skin is obviously ultra rare now because you had to be around then to get it. It was a skin that rewarded you for checking out the map, seeing what was new in Fortnite, interacting with players. You've not had anything like that in ages, and I think would be a great way to incentivize people to get on and interact with the map and see what's going on. It's one of my most popular videos in history because people love rare skins, especially ones that aren't locked behind a paywall, like Renegade Raider and like the OG Skull Trooper skin. At number 11, this goes back into the storyline. No more dialogue storyline big moments. Earlier in this chapter, or in chapter 5, Peely got kidnapped. It was an awesome start to a storyline. It was something that I think was going to really fire up the community. One of the most beloved characters taken. Imagine the whole community having to rally together to save Peely. It would have been absolutely awesome. We just kind of got a dialogue box and a loading screen of Peely on the back of one of the heroes being saved, and it was like, what? Imagine if there was an event around saving Peely. The community would have loved that. Everyone would have been fired up. And instead, we just kind of got this awesome storyline that Epic was introducing, just revealed to us in the lamest way. At number 12 is bring back community icons like Klombo and Kevin the Cube. Those were beloved things in Fortnite. You know, people loved seeing what was going to happen with Kevin the Cube. People loved seeing what was going to happen with Klombo. It was this thing that had everyone on the edge of their seats, and again, went back to what I mentioned earlier, where it was no longer formulaic. We had to go on and experience day in and day out. It was lively, it was moving, it was something that you could talk about and try to theory craft on what was going to go down instead of just kind of being spoon-fed the information. At number 13, I'd love to see more Easter eggs and secret challenges. Earlier in this chapter, we had so many Easter eggs to start off. We had the sprites and lifting them in front of the gates to let people in. We had all sorts of cool things that if you hopped on and engaged with and played, you got to see these things, and all of them trended and went viral, and you'd want to go take part in the experience yourself. You know, the little area at Flooded Frogs where you had to use the Void Oni mask to get on through. We had the turtles where you could go and interact with. Whereas now in this season, all of that's gone. They've completely done away with all of those things, and it just makes the map feel less lively. At number 14, we have to cut down on leaks in Fortnite. Right now, leaks spoil all the big things and kind of give away everything that's to come in Fortnite. I want to see Epic do everything they can to internally attack leaks, find ways to shut down leaks, and really make it where the big reveals happen in front of our eyes in Fortnite versus through Twitter threads and random TikToks and articles that come out. At number 15, this has actually already been confirmed as I'm beginning to record this video. We've got to relaunch ranked and overhaul the system with better incentives. We need to rank above Unreal to keep people grinding once they get Unreal. Right now, once you get Unreal, people just quit or they stop caring about how they play. We have to make it harder to rank up to Unreal. We have to make it where people can fall out of Unreal if they're performing poorly. We have to make it where there's kind of less ranked experiences because the player base is getting split too thin. In my opinion, when the new ranked season of Battle Royale comes out, ranked reload should be shut off for about 6 weeks or shouldn't be updated. So everyone floods into ranked Battle Royale. Give us incredible rewards. Give us an emoticon for free that we can kind of show off what our top rank is to show the difference between an Unreal player at 200,000 versus an Unreal player in the top 1,000. At number 16, we need improvements to UEFN, and we need them fast. You know, the vision for Epic was to create this metaverse where people downloaded individual Fortnite UEFN experiences. In my opinion, there's no UEFN experiences that are worth downloading 120 gigabytes of Fortnite. There's no thin client yet, like Roblox. If you want to play a certain Roblox mode, you can just download that mode and sign right in. Whereas on Fortnite, thin client isn't here yet, and UEFN keeps having major delays. They've delayed so many things. And I think instead of that system being big enough to draw in new players to download Fortnite, the focus on UEFN, I feel like, has taken away from keeping Battle Royale great, which is still what keeps people downloading Fortnite. These other modes don't have enough pull yet to get people to download Fortnite just to play Brain Rot Simulator or Tycoon. That's not, people aren't downloading Fortnite just to play those. It's not at that point yet. At number 17, we've got to give creators better tools. You know, back in chapter 4, we had something called Creative Royale, where the top creators could interact with the Fortnite Battle Royale map, give ourselves unique tools like the ability to fly around or shut off the storm or kind of move around and do hide and seeks and Simon Says and all sorts of creative videos. Well, now all of that is gone. We have to go in and hope we get a zone pull or hope that we get the POI where we want it to be. And then on top of that, we have to hope we don't get griefed by a 14-year-old or get griefed by someone who just comes in and kills the lobby because we can't make ourselves invincible. And instead of creators being able to make these videos that have amassed hundreds of millions of views across top creators' channels to bring eyes and excitement to Battle Royale, we're just very pigeonholed and we never got new tools to make up for it. So that's kind of left us very few ways to make engaging content around the Battle Royale. Number 18, we need a better profile system. You know, people have been playing Fortnite Battle Royale now for 8 years, and really there's no way to show off your achievements. Think about everything you've done, the thousands of wins you've gotten, the tens of thousands of eliminations, maybe your favorite skin, maybe your highest rank, maybe badges for showing off that you were part of so many different incredible Fortnite events. Imagine if you could click on someone, view their profile, and see something that they set up showing badges for taking part in events, showing what their highest rank was, showing basically creativity, almost like a social media profile to say, hey, here's everything I've done in Fortnite. And it could amass their eliminations, kind of like what they have on Apex Legends, but really more like the Halo 3 service record. You know, back in Halo 3 in 2007, you could show off your character, your highest rank, what level you beat the campaign on, what you've achieved in the game, your favorite screenshots, your favorite clips. All of that was downloadable and possible through the file share system. It was so far ahead of its time, and I think Fortnite could really see people wanting to celebrate their long, robust history with the game. At number 19, I want to see an overhaul to the menu UI. It is so confusing to load up Fortnite and find exactly what you want to play. Even right now, when I sign on, it's like finding zero build is like finding a needle in a haystack, or finding new experiences is still so tough to do. Discovery seems so behind the ball compared to other modes, where it's still just the same top game modes because there's no discovery into new things. You know, I want to see and get fed really cool solo experiences, or get shown, you know, things I might like that are way different genres instead of just the same red versus blue or the same thing. At number 20, the number one thing that Fortnite could give to save the game is give Courage JD an icon skin. Please